Good morning. This is your problem of the day today. What you needed to do was really FOIL on that. 3x times 2x, 3x times -4, -2 times 2x, -2 times 8. This should be review. If it's not, come into Math Lab. First answer should be 6x squared minus 16x plus 8, 20x squared plus 13x plus 2. That one is 8x squared minus 10xy minus 3y squared. And our last one is 12a squared plus 3a. So what we're going to be doing today is looking at transformations. We're going to be looking at what those constants a, h, and k do to affect the graph of a quadratic function. All right, first thing we're going to talk about are horizontal translations and vertical translations. If you're taking notes, you might want to pause for a second and do that. If it's in parentheses with the x, it's going to be going right or left. If it's negative, it's right. Positive, it's left. Because what you would rather have right here where it says x or h is less than 0, it's kind of awkwardly written, it would be x minus -h. All right, here is your vertical. If k is positive, you're going to be going up. If k is less than 0 or negative, you're going to be going down. So we want to describe the transformation of f of x equals x squared, represented by f of x, or g of x equals x plus 4 quantity squared minus 1, and then we're going to graph. Well, it's written in that form. That's going to make it really easy. It's x minus -4, that's your h, and you've got a plus -1, that's your k. So it is being transformed 4 units left and 1 unit down. Okay. These are probably you-dos, so you might want to pause and take a second and try those, and then check your answers. All right, reflections. You can have two types of reflections, a reflection in the x-axis and one in the y-axis. For a quadratic, a reflection in the y-axis looks exactly the same. So if it is negative x squared, it's going to be over the x. Here, you put the negative sign in front of the x, and when it's squared, it becomes positive. So, oops, did I cover everything on that one? We've got some horizontal shrinks and vertical stretches. I forgot to cover that part. Again, you might want to take a second and pause and write some of this down. When you've got a number in front, you really have to figure out what's going to happen. Is it going to be a stretch or a shrink? So let's go ahead and try these one. The first one is, I notice that negative sign in front and the 1/2. Yep, so A is going to be 1/2. It's going to be and if you graph it, which they have here, it's going to be a reflection because of that negative sign and a vertical shrink by a factor of 1/2. Notice on this one, it's the 2x that's being squared. This one is a horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/2. So on this one, we're going to let the graph of G be a vertical stretch by a factor of 2 and a reflection in the x-axis, followed by a translation 3 units down. We want to write a rule. So first thing we want to do, figure out what's happening. Vertical stretch and a translation down. So A is going to be -2, K is going to be -3. And we're just going to write the transformed function. Plug everything in. That's what we end up with. And your vertex would be 0, -3. Method 2. We're going to do those in the order that they're stated. We're going to write the function h multiplied by -2. And then we're going to have to subtract 3. And if you notice, we get the same answer either way. All right, this is a you try, so I would take a second and pause. Give this one a try on your own, and then check your answer. This one I think is a little bit tricky because you have to subtract 3 from that input and then you have to square it. So it's actually x minus 3 times x minus 3. You're actually going to have to FOIL that out. So we want to write a function for this. You can kind of visually see what's happening. The water spraying by a hose, here's the function, and that makes sense. It's going to go up a little and then come back down. So a lot of times in math, when you're understanding that problem, you're going to have to read that problem a couple times, and there's nothing wrong with that. How are we going to solve that? We want to analyze that graph, and we're going to have to determine a function. It says graph the function. Well, we did this on a graphing calculator. I probably used Desmos. They're telling us a couple pieces of information. H of 50 is 0. Because water originally hits ground 50 feet from the fire truck. That is going to be your new path right there. Look back. Does that answer make sense? Yeah, it does. All right, we're getting towards the end here. Again, I would probably pause. Try these two out on your own. If you get them, you understand what's happening. So go ahead and pause, try them. Check your answers in just a minute. All right, hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.